Ladies and gentlemen, this is a story that came out in Oregon Live. And man charged with igniting bomb contends his home drug lab was to find a cure for opioid addiction. That's right, y'all. He had a drug lab at his house trying to mix up a cure for opioids. That's what his drug lab at his house was for. So y'all shouldn't arrest this man. He had a good reason for having a drug lab at his house. He was trying to mix together some type of concoction that would cure opioids. All right, so you can see, he's got a criminal history. Here's his photo from 2017, and this is what he looks like after he ignited a bomb in his drug lab over there in Oregon. Jason Paul Schaefer, 27 years old, who ignited explosives in a cigarette pack as members of the FBI-led Joint Terrorism Task moved in to arrest him last fall. The challenging, and he's challenging the warrant that the officers used to search his Rock Creek home there in Oregon. The affidavit written by FBI agents and bomb technicians Wade Muchler to support the October 10th, 2017 warrant selectively omitted key information, Schaefer's lawyer contends. It didn't mention the innocuous uses of the chemicals that Schaefer bought and noted only could be combined or easily modified to manufacture. Okay, so explosives, according to the attorney Lisa Ludwig, Schaefer said he had the chemicals to try to make a drug that could treat opioid addiction, according to Ludwig and court records. So he had a drug lab at his house, but he claimed he had it there to come up with a cure for opioid addiction. Let me know in the comments section if you believe him. The search warrant affidavit also failed to include another FBI agent's conclusion from an earlier search of Schaefer's home in April 2017. So this dude has been raided quite a few times, that the chemicals appear to be solely for illicit drugs. There was no identified threat to national security, Ludwig said. FBI agent Matthew Aker also had noted that Schaefer was documented. He has a documented mental health history. That's what they're saying. None of Aker's findings made it into this search warrant affidavit. The information was incomplete to the point of being misleading, Ludwig said in court. She asked U.S. District Judge Marco A. Hernandez to schedule what's called a Frank's hearing to void the warrant, alleging the misleading omission resulted from a deliberate or reckless disregard of the truth. Schaefer lost 2 fingers on his left hand when the cigarette pack exploded as officers approached his SUV on October 11th, 2017. One officer sustained temporary hearing loss. The encounter capped FBI concerns about what Schaefer planned to do with his cache of chemicals, prosecutors say. Assistant U.S. Attorney Benjamin Talkoff called the defense explanation for the chemicals absurd and argued that the FBI agent reasonably didn't include it in his affidavit. TATP is what Schaefer used to blow himself up and nearly blow up two task force officers. Talkoff said in court papers. Mr. Schaefer claimed that he was compiling chemicals to search for a cure for opioid addiction is absurd and internally inconsistent. How one might ask, could someone with no chemistry training discover a cure for opioid addiction from chemicals purchased online? Even if Schaefer's sole intent was to buy the chemicals for a drug lab, of course, that's a crime too, Talkoff said. See, there you go. He also said the defense has taken the earlier FBI report on Schaefer out of context. It was part of the alert from the FBI Counterterrorism Division to the Portland FBI office to investigate Schaefer further, he said. Prosecutors last week filed a second superseding 6-count indictment against Schaefer with more serious charges. He now faces 2 counts of assault on a federal officer carrying and using a destructive device during a crime of violence, using an explosive to commit a federal felony, carrying an explosive during a commission of a federal felony, and felon in possession of explosions. Schaefer's lawyer argued that prosecutors sought the new indictment in a vindictive act because Schaefer refused to negotiate a plea deal. Assistant U.S. Attorney Natalie White dismissed the allegations, saying the indictment followed a new understanding of the case since Schaefer's arrest. Schaefer is set to go to trial in January. In April 2017, Schaefer's landlady called police. He was reported to have been threatening people and spilled about half a pound of mercury on the ground near his Beaverton apartment, according to prosecutors. Okay, so he was out there carrying on and cussing and acting crazy, and then he poured mercury all over the ground, y'all. When officers arrived, they found Schaefer, a convicted felon, wearing body armor in violation of state law. So he put that shit on before they arrived. He thought he was going to get shot. Beaverton police arrested him, and he was prosecuted in Washington County. Wow, y'all. And see, you see this, y'all? This is the kind of person that's free. This is the person that's free, y'all. But they arrest for a teeny bit of weed they found. But this person with a damn drug lab, he already had felonies racked up from before. He had explosive, he had body armor, he had all that stuff in his possession. He gets to be free. He gets to be free. While Schaefer was on probation in that case, the FBI received information on September 21st, 2017, that Schaefer was buying chemicals on the internet. The FBI in Portland also received the counterterrorism notification about Schaefer. Agent Mulchler received a list of chemicals that Schaefer had purchased and knew several could be used to make explosives. According to the government, Schaefer bought an explosive liquid. See that? He bought this all on the internet, y'all. He bought all of these chemicals on the internet. See, that just go to show you that they don't have to walk into the store and buy nothing today if they want to build an explosive at their house. Every chemical, every liquid chemical, everything that you need to produce a bomb can be found and purchased on the internet. But because this guy was a felon and he was apparently being watched by the FBI, they came back in on his butt on October 3rd. The FBI-led task force, after talks with FBI prosecutors in Oregon, opened a local investigation. Several days later, Munchler submitted his affidavit for a warrant to search Schaefer's home in Northwest Rock Creek Boulevard. U.S. Magistrate Judge Stacy L. Beckerman signed it on October 11th, 2017. FBI agents, along with Washington County Sheriff deputies, Portland Police, State Police, and other law enforcement officers searched Schaefer's apartment while he was set to meet with his probation officer. Wow. Investigators found igniters and the array of chemicals, prosecutors allege. Just before 4 p.m. that day, investigators saw Schaefer approach his apartment complex, driving a white Honda. They tried to arrest him on a probation detainer, but he drove off. After a short chase along Northwest 185th Avenue, the SUV stopped south of Northwest Rock Creek Boulevard when a Washington state deputy and a state trooper, both assigned to the FBI task force, walked up to Schaefer's Honda. Schaefer said something like, "We're all dying today," probably saying effing dying today. "And I'm going to effing blow all of you, all of us up," according to prosecutors. Okay, so he had that little pack in his car in the event that he would get stopped by, the authorities. He would blow himself and them up. Again, he's free. He's free, y'all. He took a cigarette lighter and ignited a cigarette pack. He was holding inside the SUV, according to the government. Schaefer's hand was mangled, and the explosive blew debris from the car and temporarily deafened one officer. Inside the Honda, police found other cigarette packs that contained explosives. See? And he was driving around this with all these explosives in his car. The same explosive that was in the pack he had ignited, according to the government. So there you go. So he blew off some of his fingers in this whole thing. Y'all. The crimes in Oregon is just overwhelming. But please tell me what you think about this dude right here. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.